Alright, good afternoon and welcome to this new series here on Newysports TV. I'm going to call this a one-on-one series, and today we have our very first guest for the season, a more in-depth sort of conversation and learning about this coach in particular and the club and where the club is going. I'd like to introduce you to Cessnock City Hornets coach Lino Gatti.
Pleased to meet you.
Alright. Well, first of all, tell us about yourself for those who don't know you, what you've done and
Yes.
what you've achieved in football.
Well, I've been in the game for a long time now. I've been involved in the game as a coach for nearly 30 years, or just on 30 years now.
Yeah.
And I've been around a lot of different clubs, and I've been able to try many different facets of coaching in the game of football.
Yep.
All the way from junior development, youth development, academies. I've also been involved with the old Newcastle First Division, which is now called the NPL 1.
Yeah.
I've been at West Wallsend in the past, back in the mid-90s, Broadmeadow Magic. I've also been working with New South Wales Football in the Curva coaching program. Yeah, too much to mention, but it's been a lifetime's worth of work.
Yeah.
In between junior and senior football.
Yeah. Obviously back at Cessnock City after a bit of a stint away. What's brought you back to Cessnock? And
Yeah, great question. Yeah, I was there 15 years ago, approximately 15 years ago, and I was there as the under-19s coach.
yeah.
And I was there for most of that season, and at the time the first grade coach had asked me to come in, and there were a bunch of young players who were in the old FYL, Federation Youth League,
Yeah.
and a group of boys that came through that program for 4 or 5 years, and they were down near the bottom of the ladder during those years. And one of those players who's with me now was there then, David Skip O'Hearn, who was one of the young guys there at the time. And they really struggled for 4 or 5 years, running last, second last,
Yeah.
over a 5-year period. And we came in, and another gentleman, an assistant coach called Tom Davies, came in, and another fine coach, and fantastic. And we got to the semi-final of the then President's Cup,
Yeah.
and I think we were about 5 or 6 rounds, and we were leading the competition back then. And then, due to unfortunate circumstances, I left with a few weeks before the season ended, and the boys were able to be in a semi-final, and it was a fantastic time.
Yeah.
And that was 15 years ago, and unfortunately I left, and yeah, I'm back here again.
Yeah. How does it feel to be back at Cessnock?
Yeah, Ty, it's been a fantastic 5 months. Very difficult 5 months, but a fantastic 5 months. And yeah, I've embraced all the challenges before us, and yeah, I'm just loving it and looking forward to the season. Whatever happens during the year, yeah, I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah. You've done a lot of work with the club about rebuilding the infrastructure there and just freshening things up. Do you want to go into detail about that?
Yeah, okay, yeah, well, we've had it's been a busy 5 months. So behind the scenes I've been working very, very hard with the committee, and the committee have been very, very supportive. I've made some suggestions, and the president, which is Michael Southworth, who's a fantastic president, easygoing guy, but a great guy to work with.
Yep.
I made a few suggestions, and he's ran with them, and then he's embraced it, and then he's looked beyond what I suggested and created many months of hard work and many working bees during the week.
Yeah.
And it's been fantastic, and we've gone on to rebuild the building upstairs. We've done the media room ready for 2017 season.
Yep.
Also the corporate box to bring corporate sponsors in and entertain guests and people of that nature, which has been fantastic. Currently they're finishing the away change room with the new showers that they've been wanting to do for the last 3 or 4 years, which is near completion, ready for the start of the season. Our home changing room, painting, just anything that needed to be fixed, has been done, and it's inside the building looks fantastic, and the pitch itself with our groundsman Rod Bauer, he's put a lot of time in with another guy called Jeff Hugo, who's done a wonderful job in the ground, and it's in pristine condition.
Yep.
And I think our first guest, I think it's Thornton Redbacks is our first home game. I'm going to love playing on our pitch. So it's a credit to the ground staff and everyone that's involved in tidying up the ground. We've got a lot more to do in the future. There are plans for the future, and the major one that I think begins in the next couple of weeks is they're enclosing the ground with new fencing on our training facility, Ty, and also a main ground. So that's going to be commencing, I think, in the next 2 weeks. Fantastic.
Yeah. Obviously, in terms of player movement, there has been a lot, and you've cleared out the majority of the team in the off-season. Do you want to sort of just go over that?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, not so much in a direct way have I moved players on. It's come about by, before I came there, I'm led to believe, a number of players were leaving. They were going on holidays, going overseas. Some players were moving. Some players were retiring.
Yep.
Some players wanted to have a year off after a hectic couple of years where they have been struggling. They were mentally fatigued and tired, and I can understand that. And I've come in and I've had a look, and my suggestion was to the committee that yes, I wanted to keep some Cessnock players there, and I put some plans in place for 2017 and 2018, and I was getting a positive response, and for some players they thought it was just a bridge too far and it was just a bit difficult, and some of the plans I've had for the club, they felt that it wasn't for them with the new direction and also the new challenges that I put forward to the players, and unfortunately some of them have decided to move on to other clubs, some have decided to retire or play in a different league. So I really didn't force anyone out, to be quite honest, but basically it was their choice.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to bring some new ideas to the club, and it didn't sit well with some people, which is unfortunate because they're always welcome at Cessnock and they're always welcome at our club because our club wants to be a family club. So yeah, am I disappointed? Yeah, because I would love to have more Cessnock people involved.
Yeah.
But because of that situation, I have brought in a lot of outside players thus far.
Yeah. I guess it's all been about changing the culture of the club. Obviously, Cessnock have been known over the last few years to be a bit of a team that hasn't achieved too much over the last couple of seasons, and a team that was some days really poor. And I guess it's all about the attitude and the training and away from the actual game situation, building up that club culture.
Yeah, very good, great question about the culture. Yeah, so what I've done is, for this year, I've brought in a new philosophy, a new way of thinking about the way we train, about the way we play football, and also just the culture within the club and around the club. Because the club has been at a low ebb for a number of years, I'm just trying to raise the enthusiasm and the passion, because there is passionate people at the club, and there are people that love the club and have been there for many, many years. And to see the club in the state that it's been in on and off the park, I can see why the club was looking for a new direction, and I've been able to bring some new philosophies, some new methodology in the way we train, the way we play, how we interact with each other, with clubs coming to play us. I'm hoping that we'll have a welcoming atmosphere at our club. Obviously, we want to send them home in a different manner. Obviously, we hope to get some results against the visiting teams, and we'll certainly try and do that. But I think our president wants to have the club, and our secretary, especially in our new board, they want to bring a different way of behaviour and a different way of how we support the team and how we interact with other clubs. And obviously the culture hasn't been to the liking of the committee, and we're hoping to change that in 2017 and beyond. So the culture will be the way we meet and greet with each other, just the support that we need on and off the pitch is there, and hopefully when you and your crew come up and at Turner Park, we hope that you're in our new press box and you're being taken care of.
Yeah.
And we're having that atmosphere with visiting committees and people that want to come to our club. We want to have that nice atmosphere.
Yeah.
And more professional atmosphere right across the club.
Yeah. Change of topic to the future of Cessnock City Football. You've got a lot of young players there. You've installed a youth academy. Is this something that the club's been aiming to do for a few years now?
Not that I'm aware of, no. The club had asked me to, when we first spoke, to go and have a bit of a think about the direction of the club, and which I did. I spent a fortnight before I accepted the job. I had a look at what I thought needed, and I made a submission, a 5-page submission to the board of directors there, and they had a look at it, and they decided to embrace my document that I presented to them, and then all that meant was that we had to roll up our sleeves and start doing the hard work, and the academy's wonderful. We have some great people at the club. What we've done is we've set up an academy, and we've set up with under-11s, with 2 under-11s teams, and they're being coached this year by 2 great guys, Neil Stevens, and who's very passionate about Cessnock, who was an ex-senior player there, and wanted to get involved with the academy structure, and another guy who we've just employed, young Andrew Schofield. He's just come on board, and between those 2 guys, working with Kel Lund, another well-known guy that lives in the Cessnock area, and with those 3 guys, they've been working very hard during the off-season, and with my knowledge on how to set up an academy, we've done that. And then we've brought in under-13s for 2017 with another senior licensed coach, a Cambodian guy by the name of Kim Song. Brilliant coach, great with juniors and youth players, just like Kel Lund himself. So they're the 2 guys that I've wanted to bring into the academy, especially of their years and years of experience, and just their great culture and great attitude with young players.
Yeah. And
they're both highly qualified coaches. So, and without their help, the academy could not start. And so we've got off to a flying start with the academy. So it's been a wonderful thing. And then with our 15s with another young coach, he's only 26, and just a young guy that's been with the club for a number of years, Josh Lewis, and was an under-19s player there, who's looking after the 15s, and just recently finishing his C licence.
Yeah.
I couldn't ask for a great bunch of guys, and they all work very hard, and my role is to support them and mentor them with the academy. But it's going to take a number of years. Our academy is full, and it's been well supported by the local community, but I'm hoping that we can spread the wings of the academy to include all the local junior clubs as far as Singleton, Greed of Brankston, Largs, Curry. So we're looking to even expand it within the coming years.
Yeah. Over the years, a lot of talented youth players have left Cessnock to go to Western or Maitland. Is it sort of building up the culture there and building up the results and trying to keep those local players at the club and trying to build that club over the next, even 5 to 10 years, looking down the line?
Oh, Ty, very much so, and you're right on the money. This club has had a problem in retaining players and keeping players for many, many years. And one of the directions from the board themselves, especially the executive committee, have really pressed upon me that the players that they've lost over the years has been, I think Michael Southworth has said on many occasions, it's a disgrace how we lose players. Yeah. And he wants a culture of people wanting to be passionate and playing for the club, and that player retention is it's on the priority list of player retention, and we've kept some players for 2017.
Yeah.
but with Scott Garrington, who's coaching the under-17s, he's doing a lot of great work, and Kel Lund, who's our under-19s coach, they're now with the bulk of the 17s and 19s, basically all Cessnock players. Maybe there's a couple from Curry, from the outer areas, which we're encouraging them to come. But these guys, they're development coaches, and they're doing a wonderful job, and a very difficult job, Ty, may I say. But without them, we wouldn't be able to build on what I'm trying to do and what the committee's trying to do. And yes, it's a cultural shift. And whilst we have all these young guys, new guys at the club, and we'll be trying to retain them over the next few years, of course. And with a sprinkling of young guys, and we've got young Connor Galbraith, young Liam King, for instance. They're young boys that have been training with me, which are local lads, which they're the future of the club, and they'll be getting game time in first grade this year. Because I think in the next year or two, they will be permanent first grade players. Which we want to see.
Is it a little bit of risk versus reward having a lot of young players step in? We've got a couple that have come from upper clubs, and I guess the 3-year window is a term that a lot of coaches are throwing around at the moment. Is it that sort of feeling at the club?
No, I don't think so. That question has been posed to me by other people in football, and yes, there's two ways of looking at it, and yes, a number of people said to me, "Oh, it's very risky what I'm doing because it can hurt a coach's reputation." And I understand that, and that could well be seen to be a high risk for my reputation. But Ty, it's not about me; it's about the club, and it's about the future of Cessnock Football Club and the community, and about these players. So to me, it's not a risk. I like to think that now Cessnock's Football Club has developed this is the club to come and play for, and I like to think that we're a club of opportunity, where if young players aren't able to get an opportunity where they are, and I'm talking about outside players, that they could come and find a place at Cessnock. But keeping in mind they've got to fight for that position, because I am also heavily looking at Cessnock players. But this club is open to players within as well as without. So it's a club of opportunity, and even at this point in time, I am still looking for a short number of players. I'm still looking for 7 or 8 players, and I have talked to a lot of players. But talking is one thing. Come to our training and show me your wares, your abilities is what it's all about. And I'm encouraging young players to come, and even some experienced players. I'm still looking for 1 or 2 experienced players, players up around 25, 26 years of age, that can bring something for long term for the future. So we're building for 2019, for the promotional year. We're not out to look to win a premiership. We want to build a team culture, but I haven't forgotten the eye in winning, let me assure you.
The Heritage Cup's coming up next weekend. Obviously there's probably some excitement about that, testing yourselves potentially against some NPL opposition.
Yes, well, what can I say about that? Well, the boys, I would say, looking at them at training just the other night, they're talking about it. They're talking about it with excitement. They're talking about it with the passion to play, because they know they're in a lower league, and it will take a few years before we're back up into the NPL 1. So to have this opportunity to play against like the Western Bears, which is like a derby match for us. So for the guys who are outsiders, they don't know that side of it. So, and I'm sure they'll learn in the next week about that. But a big derby match. I know Steve Pickett very well. Nice guy, great coach. So we're looking forward to testing ourselves with them. Edgeworth, like the boys would be very nervous, I would assume. But I am confident that we'll perform. And I've said to the boys, it's not about winning. We're developing for the future. So I'm looking, as I've explained to them, I'm looking at their performance. Their attitude's great already. That's nothing to worry about with their attitude. But we're looking at these games as teaching games of how we want to play defensively, how we want to play offensively. So there's a lot of learning. So we're using these games as as educational as well as performance based.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great concept that Andy Harper's brought in with Northern New South Wales to have this Heritage Cup, and we'll be a part of it now and forever whilst this club, and we're invited to play, and we'll embrace this competition. But our eye on the prize is 2019, I can assure you.
Yeah. It's obviously going to be a good feeling to be hosting, I guess, a sort of rival in Fortin Redbacks in round one at Turner Park, and just allowing people to see what Cessnock have done, away from the field with the ground improvements, and especially on the field as well, testing yourselves against a pretty decent team there in Fortin. Yes,
Darryl McAllister's been doing a wonderful job there the last few years, and he's had a lot of experience at a higher level as well. And I haven't seen Darryl for a number of years, and I hope to catch up with him shortly. And and Thornton is our first home game of the season, so we'll be welcoming the Redback team to our club, and just like us, they'll be coming to our ground. They know we're in a rebuilding year. They know we have a young side. I know they've got some experienced players, and I know that there's some ex-Cessnock boys have gone there, and they'll have a point to prove against us. We'll be just looking to perform and putting our best foot forward for our fans and for our community. And I'm hearing at the moment that with the betting at the moment, it's heavily favouring Thornton, and good luck to them. But we'll make sure that anybody that comes to our ground, we'll make sure that if they're coming to looking for 3 points, they're going to have to work hard for it. And I'm looking forward to the challenge, and same with all the boys. And we'll make sure that you're coming to our house, and we will welcome you very warmly. But it doesn't mean to say we want to give you the 3 points.
Is it good to see a lot of coaches raising the bar in UFM football? The likes of Graham Law's obviously come down from NPL. Josh Rufo's back at Belmont Swansea. Andre Gumprich has taken Kahaiba from his own league team to one of the premier teams in the competition. So is it good to see that sort of thing happening in the UFM division?
Well, most definitely. First of all, you've just mentioned three great coaches there, and I think the league probably in the last 3 to 5 years has been hedging towards that and been working towards that, and with the rules in place now where they want B licensed coaches, and there's not many of them around. So these clubs who are attracting that sort of talent into the pool of coaches in the UFM league is fantastic. I don't know Graham Law very well. I have met him, and I know how passionate he is. And I've been tracking his career the last 3 or 4 years. And I think he's a great acquisition for the league. And Josh Rufo, well, I know the family well. I've known him for many, many years, and I've coached his brother Daniel many years ago on the rep sides at Macquarie, and talented boys. And I think Josh Rufo, I think Bell Swans will be, along with Kahaiba, I think they'll be 2 top sides, along with Thornton Redbacks. There's some great coaches there, and it's what the league's needed. And I hope with all these talented coaches coming into the leagues, I'm hoping that Northern, in its wisdom, instead of waiting every 3 years with what the clubs are doing now, is have promotion and relegation, because that's what the game lives and breathes by all around the world. And I think we need that excitement, not only for the teams that are trying to get promoted into the NPL 1, but also the excitement at the bottom end of the league where clubs are fighting for survival and fighting for maintaining to have that UFM league status. So I'd like to see Northern New South Wales have a 3-way, like promotion and relegation from NPL 1, UFM and Zone Premier League. And I'd like to see that happen sometime in the next 2 or 3 years, and I encourage the clubs to get on board. The only thing that I can say about that is that I'd like to see clubs improve on their infrastructure, like what Cessnock's doing, and I know that's part of the criteria, and I think that Northern needs to really press home for the clubs that are lagging behind with their infrastructure, so that clubs have that not only the coaching but the facilities to warrant to be in the new FM league. So I'm asking all those clubs to not only what they're already doing now with their coaching, but with their infrastructure, and let's have an exciting league across Zone PL, New FM, as well as the top league itself.
Yeah. One coach we forgot to mention there was Andrew Packer, who's also achieved a lot in football.
Oh, he has, yes.
Is it good to see, I guess Packer does a lot of work with his FC11 program, Gumprecht with the international football schools. These are sort of coaches like yourself that just live and breathe coaching. Is that something that's good to see?
Yeah, I think what, I don't know Andrew all that well, but yeah, I've seen him around the trap, so I know what he's doing, and like all coaches, we all keep an eye on who's doing what, you know, we all like to know what's happening in the zoo, so to speak. But yeah, I think he was at South Cardiff last year, and now he's moved to New Lambton Eagles, and I did my junior football at New Lambton, and I did all my junior football at Alder Park, so it'll be strange going back there after all these years. But with what Andrew's doing with FC11, I've coached a couple of players last year who were in the FC11 program, and I've had a look at their work and what they're doing, which is fantastic. So and I hope Andrew continues along those lines with FC11, because it's a very, very important work what he's doing. But yeah, and having him also in the league is it's class. I think we can really say that this competition now, with Dave Willoughby up there at Singleton, and you know, I just think it's going to be a fantastic year. So for those people who are looking at NPL 1, I'm just saying to all you people out there, you better watch New FM in 2017.
Do you feel like there's a change over the last 10 to 20 years about technical football and where football is going in Newcastle? So that's true. Football has changed a lot. It has changed a lot over the years, and I think with the likes of possession-based football, the tactical elements of, you know, teams playing out from the back, which is instilled in the FFA curriculum, is one component. But I just think the fitness levels, the speed of the game, the movement of the game has certainly changed in the last 20 years. And with all these technical coaches coming in who are looking how the players play technically as well as tactically, there has been a big change in the last, probably, I've noticed the last probably 15 years especially, and it's been accelerating the last 5 years, Ty. I've noticed that, and with coaches such as myself and all the quality coaches that are in the league, I know that I'm up against it, and I'm sure that all the coaches know they're up against it, because of the technical and the tactical qualities that all these coaches will be bringing. Any final remarks today, Lino? This interview?
Well, first of all, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you and your team for having me on today with this first of this series of one-on-ones with the coaches you're doing within the league, and I'd also like to I want to be able to wish everyone in the New FM League a safe and a happy season. I don't like to see players hurt and injured, so I'm just looking that all the players put their best foot forward. All our rival clubs, I just hope that all the games are competitive and exciting right across the league, and certainly I like to think that with our welcoming culture at our club, I hope the clubs offer the same type of environment when we come to their club, and I'm sure that will be the case. And I'd just like to thank you personally for what you're trying to do, promoting the league. We need more of it, and certainly I hope that you do come to Turner Park in 2017. You're always welcome. You and your team are always welcome to come to our ground, and we look forward to having you in 2017. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Lino. Thank you for joining us for this first episode of this one-on-one series. My next video will be up on Saturday. We're going to be talking to the Westlake Wildcats in the first video of a new series with the Zone Football League teams that we're going to be doing here on Newysports. I'll see you then. Thank you very much.